Hi everyone, so I know this is a bit late and everything, but I wanted to do my thoughts and review of True Blood Season 5 Episode 3, and bear in mind that I did watch it last week, and I've only watched it once, so I'm really not 100% on what happened in total. And I'm sorry for all the background noise, but I'm sitting by an open window and I can't close it, and I'm by a main road, so yeah, put two and two together, and you know what to get. So yeah, I'm just on a web page that notes what basically happened, and I want to give my thoughts on it. So yeah, I can't remember what happened to Sookie. I think Lafayette basically told her that it was her fault that she leaves a trail of dead bodies behind, and I think he called her the Angel of Death, and I think this is really true. And I can see why Lafayette was so irritated about it, especially when it came to Tara, who's obviously a very close family member of his. And I think sometimes that Sookie's so used to being this sort of object of not desire, but object of like people want to hurt her kind of thing, that she's no longer used to, she's no longer like affected by the pain and stuff that usually comes along with losing people after people are killed around her, maybe because of her indirectly or directly. And yeah, and I think that's irresponsible of her, because at the end of the day, a human life is still a human life. And I think it's just kind of sad that she's not really fazed by it anymore. I mean, as much as I didn't like Debbie, as much as I knew she was going to turn out the way she did, I think Sookie not even really showing any emotion towards it is kind of stupid. I mean, she didn't need to kill Debbie. She could have easily just, like knocked her out or something like that. But instead, I don't know. And it's not even the fact that what she could have done. She's just not being very responsible about it. Again, she just doesn't really care about how people are affected by Debbie's death. But I'm kind of glad that Alcide found out. I can't really remember what his reaction was, but she, I think, needs telling more than people are doing. Obviously, not many people know, but I think she needs to be told by Lafayette more in particular that what you're doing is not right. It's not okay to just be so lax about killing people, about people dying around you. It makes you cold and distant, and that's not the kind of person that I think Sookie wants to be. And then obviously we have Lafayette himself. His whole witch bruja thing is coming back, and I think that's really interesting. I'm excited to see how it ties in with Jesus, and if there's going to be any sort of Jesus conflict, if Lafayette's going to deal with his feelings this season. And I really hope he does, because obviously now he's going through this vampire thing with Tara, and now he's going through this thing where he said to Sookie, you know what, maybe you should start thinking about the people other than yourself. He's obviously very angsty. He's going through a hard time, so I hope he gets the sort of closure he deserves out of everything. And I really hope this witch thing isn't going to turn around and bite him on the ass and make his life hell, which I can imagine he's going to do this season, and then it's going to carry over into next season. Something's going to happen, and it just seems like this point is not really going to end anytime soon. And I think honestly Lafayette deserves to be a main character, as opposed to a character who's not quite a secondary character, but a character who has more limelight than he does at the moment, because honestly I think he's much more interesting than Sookie. Then we have Tara. I think Tara, this episode was she's one of my favourite characters, definitely. I think the way she deals with being a vampire is how I expect her to deal with it. The whole thing where she was put in the freezer, I thought it was funny. But I feel so terrible for her, in the sense that she doesn't really have anyone to turn to. She doesn't really trust anybody. And obviously she's got these new vampire instincts she just wants to feed. She's recovering from this brain damage. and she started to get hold of her senses. And I thought it was really, really admirable of her that she kind of gained control of herself before she killed the woman who was stranded by the road. And she basically said, you know what, even though she didn't say it, she was basically, you know what, I don't want to be like this anymore. I want to like have control over myself. But then I thought it was really sad that obviously she's still in the very, very first stages of life, vampire life, and she doesn't like vampires, obviously. I thought it was sad that she kind of thought the only way out was by killing herself. And at the end, obviously, you see her get into the sunbed. But personally, I think Pam's going to save her. In fact, I think I'm pretty sure that she does save her. I've not watched this week's episode 4. But yeah, so I'm excited to see what happens with Tara. It's a bit of a mystery, kind of what's going to happen with her. It's not really clear cut. I wonder if she's going to have this sort of eternal domination. Lestat, you know, Louis from the Interview with the Vampire. She's going to have that kind of like view on vampire life, or if she's going to accept it, and if she's going to get close to Pam. This is one of the most budding storylines, and I think it's got so much flesh, so much potential, and I really do hope that they do Tara justice, because this is her time to shine. It's been a long time coming. But this whole Jason thing, I think it was so predictable and so stupid that they kind of like, the reason that he's a sexual deviant is because he was sort of not molested, but he had this premature sex thing with his teacher. I was like, really? That's just it's not a good way to give someone a storyline. It's just giving someone a storyline because he's there and they don't really, I don't know, want to write off a death, or they're waiting to do other things with him that happened in the books. So yeah. Jessica, I think, I don't know, I think with Bill gone, she's acting out more and stuff like that, but it really, like, it concerns me, like, why is she concerned where he is? There's probably a reason for it, but I'm just wondering, why on earth isn't she like, oh, Bill, what are you? Or sending, like, thoughts to him or something like that, or why does she even sense that he's in danger, that he's locked up or whatever? I don't get it, but, you know, and I just thought she was a bit of an unnecessary bitch. Not unnecessary, but she was a bit sassy, too sassy for my liking. It wasn't how I'd handle it. And just because now her dad's the king of Louisiana doesn't give her entitlement, doesn't give her the right to be a princess about everything, but apparently that's what she's going to buy, so whatever. I just hope she calms down. And then obviously we have the whole fair introduction. This is really interesting to see how the vampires react to the fairies. I thought they'd be a bit more brutal and savage about it, but obviously we've only seen Jessica's reaction, so other vampires could go completely off the wall. I mean, if Tara came across a fairy, I can imagine she'd lose her shit. But yeah. And then we have Bill and Eric, who are still tied up with this whole authority thing. I mean, it's not really interesting to me. They touched briefly on some conspiracy or something. I can't remember what it was within the authority. Roman and Solomon. I don't know how to say her name. She's obviously trying to play both sides. See, they're both sanguinists or sanguinistas or something like that, which means supporters of the old ways in which vampires shouldn't mainstream. They should be superior to humans, as it says in the Vampire Bible. But I'm glad to see that Eric's kind of keeping his cool sort of thing. He's not letting his emotions get in the way. And yeah, hopefully, I think he's going to be reunited with Pam soon now. He's kind of got this deal with Roman about finding a relation to it. And then obviously we have Pam. It was so great to see how Pam and Eric kind of got together. It expanded on more than last week. And I thought it was just... It was good to see how Pam was in the previous life. She was more... obviously she was more emotional, I think. But that was with Eric. I'm not really sure if she was that emotional not with Eric when she was like with other people. But she was even then she was very headstrong, and I could see why Eric was attracted to her. But I think the whole thing with her slashing herself, for me, that was a bit... it kind of irks me how they kind of had Pam being this strong character, and then she sort of turned around and was like, you know what, fuck it. If you're not going to give me what I want, then I'm going to die. I thought they could have written her to be more clever about it, or they would have expanded the whole make a child storyline thing between Pam and Eric to be more substantial than just the fact that she cut herself because she didn't want to live anymore. She wanted to have a vampire life. So yeah, and then also we have Pam herself in the prison. She's very worried about Eric, and that's very much granted. So, and I'm wondering, why can't she feel anything of Eric? Is Eric blocking his feelings or whatever, or his situation? But I know she's going to be reunited with him soon, so that's good. And I know she's going to go and rescue Tara, and I'm wondering if she's going to give Tara any sort of instruction. There's going to be that really great make her progeny sort of relationship. And it interests me because if Pam and Eric got together, Pam and Tara are going to get together. So yeah. I mean, Tara's obviously bisexual. Because she had a relationship with that girl from season 3 or season 4, I think it was. So yeah, maybe there's something there. And I know that Pam's, completely not bothered about gender, so that'd be cool. And then we have Hoyt. I can't remember what he was doing in Fantasia, but I just thought it kind of looked weird, and I was like, oh, whatever. Then we have Andy and Holly. I'm not really interested in this storyline. I like Holly. She's interesting. She's cool. She's kind of, she's... There's nothing really that amazing about her. For me, she's just a good, strong... She's like a well-rounded character with her flaws, but it's good to see that she's happy. I don't know. I think she's a nice addition to the show. Her sons, I'm not really bothered about them. And then, we have Sam. And, Luna. Her daughter's a werewolf, I think. I'm not really sure. It could be a shifter. She could have just shifted into a puppy or whatever. Yeah, but then we have Sam, and he sees Tara and he's like, what the fuck, and he helps her out. I thought that was really nice. It's kind of a bit of a throwback to the thing that went on between them. But yeah, I mean, the characters I'm most excited for this season are Tara, definitely Tara. So I've got a cough. I'm excited to see how the fairy's going to go. And I'm really hoping that they'll touch on Godric, because they mentioned him in this episode, and I was like, yeah, Godric. And now Tara's born into Godric's bloodline, which is like really amazing when you think about it. I mean, you have Godric, who's like a fan favourite. I mean, he's one of my favourites. He's so strong and so calm, and he's like this personification of acceptance and understanding. And then you have Tara, who many people really don't like, which I think is completely irrational, by the way. And they're kind of connecting now, and it'd be good to see if Tara kind of grows and becomes more solid, becomes more not aloof but more wise, and like Pam has, Godric did, and Eric has. So yeah, I'm excited to see what happens to Bill. I quite like Bill, much to everyone's dismay. I was like, oh, I can't believe you like Bill. Well, you know what? I think Bill's a great character. He was much better last season, and he's much better this season. And I think now he's gotten away from Sookie, then it serves him justice. Anyway, this was a very bad review, but I'm going to watch the next episode now and give my thoughts on that. So hopefully it can be better. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you soon, hopefully. Bye.